for the meeting to order at 16:02. This is a special fire commissioners meeting, and we can open it for any public comment. Anybody wish to comment? Okay, there being none, I need to ask approval of the two meeting minutes. We'll start with the approval of the minutes for our regular meeting of October the 14th. Is there any corrections or issues? If not, I will accept a motion to accept them.
I move to accept the minutes as submitted.
Pat, can you draw? No?
Pat says yes.
Okay, good. They're approved. I would like a motion for approval of the minutes from the special budget work session that we held on November the 3rd. Are there any corrections or additions?
No.
There being none, I'll accept them as they are printed. Well,
Patrick says there's none corrected. Harper says there's nothing he needs to have corrected. He approves.
Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to the financial manager's report.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, so today we have November warrants that total $23,034.88. The total for payroll is $20,017.83. This includes Chief Carlton's salary of $5,278.50 and Assistant Chief Shields' pay of $3,083.33. There was one event for each of the commissioners and the secretary. The total payout for the volunteers, the warrants included, is $13,367. And I believe you all have the October financial statements. They've been handed out for review. So today I'm requesting a motion to approve the warrants and payroll for November as presented.
Any discussion? Greg?
I move that November warrants totaling $23,034.88 and payroll of $20,017.83 be approved.
Pat?
Commissioner Harper, do you approve?
I approve that. I could watch it last night. I couldn't make any comments. But
So-
I got the spreadsheet and questions and everything. It looks good to me.
Yeah, so he approves the warrants.
Good. The warrant, totaling the 23,3488 and 20,1783 have been approved. Next.
Okay, and yes, we just have a budget update as of October 31st, 2020. There's currently 30.98% left in the budget. I think in dollars here. And that's in comparison to 27.67% same time last year.
The next item is approval or budget update and approval of the, what we don't do that now. Any budget update, nothing to add in.
And that is it. That concludes the budget update that I have.
Good, thank you. Any correspondence? Please.
There's just been personal correspondence for me due to my family's situation at this point, but none for the district.
You want to go ahead and repeat the report?
Sure, I'll bring it up on screen, so I'll Can everybody see this?
Not yet, yes, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, great. So Chief Officer report for October 2020. As you can see, plenty of information. First two lines is that I need to remind the commissioners, next month you're going to see a jump in the payables because we have about $12,000 worth of repairs that had to be done on both engine 5802 and engine 5803. Plus, all of those engines, engine 58, engine 5802, and engine 5803 have gone in for their pump testing. So those are going to be additional bills from ProFire. So we're probably looking, I'd have to say, probably close to $25,000 to $30,000 worth of engine work that we've had done over the last 2 months, and that'll be showing for next month's payables. And these are all being paid by the district credit card, as far as I know at this time. The 24-hour row-a-thon is coming up, and it may be canceled because it seems like BC is starting to put some more regulations in place for the spikes that they're having in COVID at this point. So we're hoping that we can continue our second annual row-a-thon for PTSD and veterans. Last year was a huge success. We were able to raise a lot of money and give that to the Honor House and some other locations in the Lower Mainland, and I believe also back to some organizations in our community. So that is not going to be held on the 11th though. That is being held at a later date this month. And I'll try to keep you up to date on that, but I believe it's also going to be held in Canada since the majority of the people that will be rowing are from Canada and can't cross the border for this event because of the COVID pandemic at this time. There's really nothing else to report on any of the apparatus. We have 42 members, 24 Canadian, 10 Point Roberts, 8 County. 5 paramedics, 8 EMTs, which of 5 are advanced EMTs. We have 5 EMTs that are now finishing up their initial training. We're hoping that all of those EMTs will be done and online no later than January 2021, hopefully by the end of December. But one should be done by the end of December and online for our community, Chris Falloon, one of our members, and the other 4 may be a little delayed going into 2021. Also, Bill Skinner, who you all know, previous fire chief for the district, he has completed all of his necessities for EMT credentialing in the state of Washington again, and hopefully he'll be certified this coming up week by Washington State to start practicing at a EMT basic level for the community. If you remember, he was an intermediate level, an ILS skill set person a number of years ago, and he decided he wanted to retire from the district and let that go. He did so, and then he could probably explain it better, but he wanted to come back to the district. So we had a meeting. Obviously, he's a member again, and he actually got interest back into medical, and he said, you know what, I want to get my medical training and credentialing back to support this community, and he's done so. So my hat's off to him for doing all of this work to come back to the agency and now be at a level again to work on the EMS side of what we do and do some medical transports to the hospital. So congratulations to Bill Skinner on that. 3 ambassadors on file and 34 firefighters out of the 42 members. Volunteer hours for the month of October were 2,679. If everyone was getting paid, the payroll would have been 18,926. I worked 160 hours, Chief Shields 124 for a combined 284 hours. We had 38 calls last month in October, 7 EMS calls. We transported 3 patients to St. Joseph's, Airlift transported 1, and we had 3 no transports. We had 10 community paramedic responses and visits. We had 4 public service responses and 17 classifications for fire. We had 2 permitted burns. We had 10 false alarms, and we had 3 power line incidents. We had also 1 wrong address to report for the month of October. So sometimes we get dispatched inadvertently to the wrong address, and it's actually another district. So that may have been that wrong address. If Chief Shields is online, he could explain that further if he would like. And he's filming again, so just to let you guys know. Anyway, so that concludes my chief's report for the month of October. Any questions regarding the report?
Any questions?
No.
I would like to know about the roll-on, is it in Canada, can any of our people participate in it?
Hey, Chief Shields, you want to mute me, please?
I want to mute me too. Yeah, I can mute me.
Yeah, I'm feeding back on you.
Sure, there you go.
Okay. The roll-on, it doesn't look like anybody's going to be allowed across the border into Canada for that specific event. It's just like the golf tournament that we had, which was, again, another success for our volunteer charitable society. And they sold out. Since they hosted in Canada during the COVID pandemic, they actually sold the event out with golfers. So they had over 70 golfers this year. Last year, I believe we had 46 at last count. And I could be wrong on that number, plus or minus a half a dozen. But the rollathon is probably, again, going to be held in Canada. And for us to go over, I doubt that CBSA is going to let us join that event since we would be getting out of our vehicle. Even though it's a fire district event, I necessarily wasn't allowed to go to the golf tournament if I wanted to do that, even though I'm the fire chief of the agency that's hosting the event in Canada, just because of the rules that are currently in place. So, but I'll keep you up to date on whether it's a go or not. And if it's not, then maybe it can be done in December or after the first of the year. Maybe there's a little bit of flexibility. I think you all understand as well that Point Roberts was left out of the most recent order in council from the government of British Columbia, or the federal government in Canada, I should say, from Ottawa. And I don't know the reason for that. I hope it's a simple oversight. But there's been some exemptions given, since we're talking about this rollathon. There's been some exemptions given to Northwest Angle in Minnesota, Campobella in New Brunswick, and Hyder, Alaska, that don't seem to have been provided to Point Roberts residents at this time. I'm doing further investigation on that, but those other 3 locations now have relaxation at their borders to where they're able to go into the Canadian community to do necessities for shopping, etc. And again, I believe we were left out specifically in that order in council coming down from Ottawa. So coming back to the rollathon on my chief's report, if that hasn't, if Point Roberts is not considered, then I doubt we would have any flexibility to go.
Any other questions? Thank you.
I can add a little bit to what Chief Carlton was just talking about as a member of the Chamber of Commerce. We have learned from a number of MLAs in British Columbia that it was the Premier of British Columbia that shut down Point Roberts. The federal government actually approved opening the Point Roberts border. And so Brian Calder is working with local media in Vancouver, and some of these MLAs have agreed to go on camera on the record and say that it was BC that did this, and put a little pressure on them, and perhaps we will see a change in that situation once there's some pressure.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any questions of the chief? Thank you very much. Moving on to unfinished business, we have the 2021 operational budget we've reviewed it, and we need to approve it for the year of 2021. Can't believe
Sure.
2021.
And Commissioner Lester, I can bring that up in sharing mode if you would like. And
Any questions that were left over from our review before?
I have one.
Commissioner Harper, do you have any questions regarding the budget workshop we had in the budget for 2021?
No, I don't.
So he does not have any questions. I'll bring it up here. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the final 2021 budget. And Patty, if there's anything I'm missing, please step in on this one. This is the final that was part of the last meeting as well. So the Income projected, the overall budget is 621,580.34, and I want to say that's with the 1%, or that's the 1%. Can you explain that number to the public, please? Let me bring up another document here real quick, just this one right here.
Yes.
So this is the one I'll explain first.
Okay.
So the levy increase for 2021 actually comes to a 0.72536%. That is the theoretical 1%. That gives us an amount added to the 2020 levy, which was 617,104.11. The amount added to that levy is 4,476.23, which gives us a 2021 levy of 621,580.34. The projected additional revenue, which includes hospital district, and I'll show that on the next page, is projected to be 22,800, which gives us an overall budget of 644,380.34 for 2021. If you minus that from the
Revenue.
the revenue part of it, that would leave us a remainder of 23,259.34 at the end of the year if every penny was spent out of the 2021 divisional budget. So that explains where these numbers are going to come from. So now I'll bring up the other one. So this is that 621,580.34. The other revenue of the 22,800, I believe it was, we project the hospital district rent will be around 16,000. Fire service contract fees, investments, and burn permit sales. We normally underestimate all of those, and that's just for projection purposes, but we normally get more of the investment, and we normally get more burn permit sales in there. I never average in ambulance transport fees, which this year I believe we've had around $19,000 come back in transport fees for 2020. Which will just automatically go into capital reserve at the end of the year, where the commissioners want that to be stated. And then we never add in grant revenue because I never know if we're going to get any grants throughout the year, so that's additional as well. So going through the legislative division, these are the amount of money that is put into these different areas of this division. The division total is $50,659. I gave Chief Shields a 3% increase for his duties in the organization. So he moves up to $38,110. And the division for the administrative division totals $201,812. Suppression division, these are the different areas, obviously, as many areas as we can consider that we'll be spending funds on. That division is $179,900, and then suppression training division totals $28,850. This year we sent a person to fire academy, and so I always have about $8,000 in there to send at least 2 people. If I have members of the community that want to become firefighters, then that allows us to send at least 2 people through the year working within that division itself. $28,850. Maintenance division totals $27,900. And EMS division is $112,500. This year for, it comes down to the EMS training division. The EMT training, we actually spent $12,000, I think, this year in 2020. And it needs to be understood that sometimes I'll go over that just because we have a lot of members that want to become EMTs in the state of Washington. And we want to send them to school if we can. So I work within that entire division of the 19,500 and all the other divisions. If I overrun one of the divisions in costs, like the EMS division or EMS training division, then I can go into other divisions as well, as long as I'm not overrunning the entire budget, which is, for my line items, is that 621,121. That's what you approved for me to expend if every penny would be spent for the year. But I don't consider this 23,259 to be part of those funds. So just to let you guys, you can ask me any questions if you would like at this point.
On the expenses on the equipment that is going to be coming in, that will still be in the 2020 budget, right?
That's correct. So all those expenses for the engines that we've seen this year will be in the 2020 budget, not in the 2021. So I'm getting all of that into this year's budget. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Anything else?
So that's what the 2021 budget will look like and be totals. And I don't think this was the worksheet that we used at the last meeting. Here comparing the 2020 and the 2021 budget, and then the changes to those divisions. So we went over that at our last meeting. And you've seen that?
Of the audit.
Patty will have to answer that question for you.
I'm sorry, Virginia, I couldn't hear you very well. What was that?
We have the final cost of the audit, yeah?
I don't. We are processing our second payment. So I think we paid, let's see roughly here.
We have carried over $2,500 into the 2021 budget in case we have some carryover from bills from this audit. So
We paid about $4,500 or $4,000 right around in there. I would need to check to be exact, but we paid 2 invoices. And we are wrapping up our audit, I believe, on November 17th. We should have an online meeting for an exit interview. So from my understanding is that's gone real well, and we should be getting hopefully 1 to 2 closing invoices perhaps for December. So that's why we put a little extra in there in case there is a residual that rolls into January, which that's very well could be the case.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else who have questions?
the other things that I should probably go over with you, again, give me 1 second, please. Not that one. Sorry. Are the 2 resolutions.
Okay.
So, Patty, would you like to review those again?
Yes. Resolution 2020-02 states that the district would like to take our 1% levy increase for 2021, which equates to the 0.72536%, in the amount of approximately $4,476.23. And we would need a motion for that today.
I would entertain a motion for that, please. Yeah,
I make a motion that we accept budget as Patty presented it on the resolution 2020-02.
is there a second?
I second.
Okay, motion has been accepted.
And so that's the first resolution for the 1% increase. The second resolution.
And then the second resolution is 2020-03. If it entertains the board, this would approve what is quoted as Exhibit A, which would be the 2021 budget that Chief Carlton just went over. So that would be approval of the 2021 budget, and it would also certify the tax levy amount that we are also approving, which again is the 1%, and it equates to a total of $621,580.34, to be collected in taxes and put into our expense fund at the county. In addition to that will also be residual new construction amount that we will know at a later date exactly what that is.
Any questions?
I move that resolution number 2020-03 be accepted as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
I second that motion.
Thank
The
you.
resolution shall carry.
Thank you. Then moved and seconded and that's second. Do we need to do anything else now with the budget? Patty?
We do not. With this resolution, it incorporates the budget as Exhibit A, except that Chief Dalton presented it.
Any questions that anyone has? Any comments? I would really like to thank you for being available today to do this. We appreciate it a lot. We know you're going through a lot and this is a service to us. Thank you.
Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate everybody's support, and can't thank you enough for everything that you've helped us with over these last now going on I think 8 weeks, and you know, we were up for a doctor's appointment, and Pam was able to see some friends, and that was extremely important for her and for them to see her as well, I believe. Because of everything that's going on, and I'm updating our page, obviously. But thank you very much. I truly appreciate everybody's prayers and support.
Anything else for the good of the order? Thank you all. I have a motion for adjournment.
I make that motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Thank you very much. We will adjourn at 16:29. Is that close enough?
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody.
Aye.
Thanks, Patty.
Bye, Commissioner.